Hi there, hope you all are doing well. My name is Timpy. I'm a watercolor artist and I share watercolor tutorials for beginners on my channel. In today's tutorial, I will teach you how to create loose and expressive dahlia flower, which is one of my favorites. So let's get started. The details of materials that I have used for this painting can be found in the description box below. I'm using professional supplies for this painting, but you could even use student grade supplies that you have. So I did start off with a rough sketch of my flower before starting to paint it, just to give me an idea as to where the tinier petals are and where the bigger petals are, just to kind of define the center of the flower well. So you could choose to omit this option altogether if you're more confident with this painting directly, because more confident painters do that, but I thought it'll be really nice if you have a rough sketch to start off with. So I did have a reference picture for this one, which was generously contributed by one of the members of Every Artist Free Reference Library group on Facebook. So people are really kind to contribute inspiring photographs on this group. I'll put a link in the description down below in case you need to check out for finding inspiration for your painting. Then there's an amazing community and loads of amazing pictures out there. I really recommend that you must check that out. So once you've completed your sketch, I'd also recommend that you lighten the pencil lines, because you don't really want to see the pencil lines after your painting. You cannot erase them once the painting is done. So that's what I have done here before starting. And I'd be using a limited palette to paint this flower, comprising of just 3 colors from my Mijello Gold palette, which are Quinadricone Permanent Rose, Quinadricone Permanent Magenta, and Quinadricone Permanent Violet. So we'll predominantly be using Quinadricone Permanent Rose to start off. So I started off with the innermost petal and I used a thinner brush to do so, and then I gradually moved outwards with a size 6 pointed brush. I'm also dropping in some permanent magenta color just to add in some darks. And if you notice the flower carefully, you can see that right outside the center of the flower there are bigger petals as well as smaller petals. So I'm just trying to define the outlines of the petals to start off with, and you can see I've sort of created a gradation, and I'm concentrating darker colors right in the middle of the petal, leaving the outer boundary a bit lighter. So we'll follow the same approach for majority of the petals, and as you can see, we'll gradually work on petal by petal. And I'm also lifting off some paint if it has seeped out towards the outer edge of the petal. So when I first started painting loosely, it was quite challenging for me, because I had this fear of ruining my paintings, and this was really big constraint for me. Overcoming that constraint and letting your brush and paints move freely on paper is all you need to paint loosely. With every subsequent attempt, you will notice a big difference in the results you achieve, and you will gradually overcome this fear. I love using watercolors because I find this medium absolutely magical. I share my artwork regularly on my Facebook and Instagram page named as Timpy Consult Art. So if you do recreate this flower, please do share your work on Instagram and tag me in. I also conduct online watercolor classes for those who are interested in more detailed step-by-step approach along with feedback. So For the outer petals, I'm using a size 6 pointed brush, and as you can see, I do an initial wash of the lighter color and then just drop in some darker color to the center of it. It does spread out, but we're going to come back later on these petals to add in more darker shades when it's completely dry. We'll continue this like this for most of the petals, and as we gradually move outwards, we like the petals to just fade out and soften them a bit by adding more water, and you'll see in a few moments that how this is going to come together. And you can also add in some darker color when your petals are not completely dry at that mid stage. Obviously this is not recommended if you're trying to do realistic watercolors, but for painting loosely you can literally try and experiment and just drop in colors as and when you feel like, and gradually you'll notice that you're really happy with the effects you've attained. And sometimes it could gonna be the other way around, but that's absolutely fine because experimenting is necessary if you're painting loosely. So now at this stage I decided to turn my flower into more of a loose nature, and to achieve that I use a spray bottle and just tend to push the paint outwards, and you'll see that will really smudge out some of the petals and create some movement of the pigment that really adds to the beauty of a painting. So as you can see, there's not much definition here because I'm just using a spray bottle, and obviously we're going to come back to it. You'll see that at some point I realized I used too much of a spray bottle and all my petals have suddenly disappeared. But trust me, it's absolutely fine, because until you do those mistakes you would not learn from their mistakes. So there's always an option of rescuing your painting back. So you can see that some of it is completely flattened after drying out, but we can actually go back and fix it all and make it bright and lively again. So now I'm using permanent rose color, again a thicker consistency this time, and I've started defining the petals a bit more, adding some darks to the center of the petals. But this time our paper is completely dry, and obviously when this does dry out it's going to be more vibrant and not just fade out completely. So this is also called a negative painting technique, where I'm just using darker color to go around the petals and giving them some sort of a shape without any outlines as such. And it's also important to know that your painting would really stand out if you have sufficient contrast in it. So it's always nice to have that sort of contrast. You're going to go really dark in the center of the petals after a while, and you'll see the sort of difference it creates. It just makes the flower really stand out. So I've started going really dark now using a permanent violet color, as you can see, and I'm adding this to the center of the petals. And I'm using really bold strokes here. I'm not adding too much water. I'm just adding into the center. You can smudge out a few edges if you like, because you don't want them to be like very dark lines. In certain areas it's nice to have sort of a smudging, so I'm using a spray bottle again. So here is our final painting. I hope you guys learned some useful tips to paint loosely. If you do like it, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this. I will meet you soon in 2 weeks time with another tutorial. Till then, take care. Bye.